Chapter 15. Celebrations. When I first spent time in the United States, I was fascinated, particularly, by the way television shows and movies depicted romantic relationships. I pitied them for their misfortune in being born without the guidance of deity. Rhiannon Amador, Essay on Love. Sebastian stared at Melanie. Even if she couldn't hold his soul, he didn't care. There would never be another woman for him. He would forego the blessings associated with placing his soul in the keeping of a woman rather than live without her. She was everything he needed in his life. Sebastian, she whispered, I didn't know we were coming to your country. Her face was white, her hands were trembling. I am glad you are here, he was firm. It is a good year for you to learn about my people, my faith. He picked up both of her hands, holding them tightly. I can think of nothing more destined to bring me happiness than having you here, in my country, at this time. Her eyes searched his, looking for answers within. I haven't changed from the person I was when last we met. Her voice was sharp. He gripped her hands tightly when she started to withdraw, squeezing them as he said, I have not been happy since we have been apart. I should never have left you. They traveled in silence for a time before she tilted her head to the side and asked, Your mother is a queen. Does that make you a prince? Yes, I am a prince. You should see me in my full royal outfit. Actually, you will. I am sure your friend will take many photographs. Will you consent to be my partner at the celebration ball? I will not consent to a casual tumble in bed, Sebastian Zakarian, she said, I value myself too highly. Melanie, I also value you highly. I respect you, and your boundaries. Will you partner me to the ball? She inclined her head before asking, What is being celebrated? My cousin is spending a week in seclusion with his bride-to-be. At the end of the week, they will marry. The celebration is something like a wedding reception. That will also be the eve of my 30th birthday, so it is dual purpose. Do you have an older brother? Melanie asked. No. I have a younger brother. You will be king someday. He shook his head. I was disqualified, the most I will ever be is prince. He grinned. I have never been so relieved. When I abdicated, my brother did too. My cousin, the one who is in seclusion with his bride-to-be, is now the future king. She frowned. It doesn't bother you? Not at all. I could not be king without the woman I wanted for my queen. Melanie's eyes widened as she took in his meaning. Are you saying you abdicated because of me? His expression was gentle, his thumbs rubbing the back of each hand that he still held. Melanie, I knew when I met you there would never be another woman for me. The requirements for our future queen are very minimal, but you could not hold the position. To be king, I had to be married, and if I could not find a woman to marry who was acceptable, I could not be king. In a way, it is because of you, but it was more about the requirements being out of your reach. I would rather be with you. You shouldn't have done that, she said sharply. You should have found someone else. Why would you do that? I'm not worth giving up a crown. Melanie, you are worth it to me. Perhaps after this celebration month is over, you and I can discuss exactly why this was literally the only choice I had. Please, remember that I am happy with my choice. My father, the king, is happy with it, as is my brother, who also abdicated. My cousin and uncle, our spiritual leaders, have stated that it was the right decision. Was all that information about Andy Stolians just a ruse to get me here? I did not know you were coming here, if you will recall. I do not know what you were promised. Andy Stolians originate in my country. In fact, one of the things I was thinking of doing, now that I will not be king, is work in the royal stables, specifically with the Andy Stolians. Bethany and I will be here for a year, Melanie said. Will that bother you? Not a bit. It saves me from choosing to forego the celebrations. I was trying to figure out which ones I could afford to skip so I could find you and convince you to come and visit Astolia. Jackie traced patterns on Leo's chest, thinking about everything that took place as they arrived. He brought her to the seclusion suite and told her they would use the suite for the first few days of their union, as part of the marriage process. "We will be officially married when we are done with our 7 days?" she asked. "There is a formal ceremony after the 7 days, a confirmation that the spirit does accept our union. It is a formality, but is special nonetheless." "What exactly happened at the dock?" He cleared his throat before answering her. "When my cousin decided it was impossible for him to become the king, he abdicated. If he was not capable, normally it would be his younger brother who would become the new heir apparent. However, Gregory, Sebastian's younger brother, turned it down instantly. He knew himself well enough to know he was not suited as king. If none of the king's sons are suitable to become the new king, then next in line for the throne are the sons of the king's younger brother. I am his oldest son. When Sebastian and Gregory abdicated, I became the heir apparent." "That means you are to be king?" she asked. He leaned towards her and kissed her for some time before answering, "Yes, Jackie, in 9 months, when you give birth to our son, a week later we will become the king and queen of Estolia." "I don't know that I'll make a very good queen," she said reluctantly. "You are perfect for Estolia," he countered. "Both of my cousins were unhappy with their future roles. My younger brother and I, on the other hand, are both pleased it has resolved itself in this way. It is an accepted axiom here in Estolia, that those whose burdens are greatest, receive commensurate blessings." "Am I really pregnant?" she asked. Her hand lay over her abdomen. "Zacharias, our founder, was promised by deity that, if the heir to the throne always waited until his 30th year to marry a virgin, and married her within 7 days of their first intimacy, remaining true to her always, then Estolia would always know prosperity. In addition, as a mark of the benevolence of deity, and to demonstrate deity is still with us, each Estolian couple will have a son born to them, conceived during the exchange. You will always keep my soul. I have taken your purity. Deity will give us a son, indicating that our connection is inspired. I have no doubts whatsoever that you are pregnant with our son, the future king of Estolia." The solemn sanctification ceremony for Jackie and Leo took place in the beautiful cathedral built near the entrance to the temple. The couple glowed with their love for each other. Melanie hoped fervently that somehow, she and Sebastian would come together. She wanted to experience a love as profound and moving as the love of the newlyweds. After the ceremony, she and Sebastian, with the rest of the entourage, traveled back to the palace in open-topped carriages. Their carriage had 4 dapple-grey Andy Stolians. Sebastian told her that it was rare for Andy Stolians to be white and they were reserved for the king and his immediate family. It was hard for Melanie to pay as much attention to the celebrations as she should have. She was enjoying being with Sebastian too much. They were dancing together when she asked Sebastian, "Is it my imagination, or have we been unable to spend any time alone since I got here?" He laughed. She had missed the rich, vibrant sound of his happiness slipping through her nerve endings during the 4 months they were apart. "My family have conspired to force me to wait until my 30th birthday prior to being alone with you." "Why?" "Because, Mel, in Estolia a man does not marry before he is 30, and he does not consummate the union with the woman he plans to marry before the eve of that birthday." She wondered if he meant what she thought he meant. He must have sensed the stillness within her because he clarified, "In case it is not clear, Melanie, I plan to marry you just as soon as I am able to do so." He stopped dancing and cupped her face with both hands, looking at her, searching her eyes. "Will you marry me, Melanie? Be mine for the rest of our lives together, be my everything." "Oh yes, Sebastian. Once you left, I stopped living. You are my everything."